Nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler. I come to you from Nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, California. It's a little noisy my backyard, so we'll test how good my microphone is and see if you guys hear it at all, because you might not, and that's fine. I hope everyone is doing well. Remember not to panic, and maybe it's time that the comic industry start doing that just a little bit. Well, at least certain publishers, couple of retailers out there, and a certain distributor. Because I am here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the comic industry is saved. All you have to do is buy a t-shirt and use a hashtag called #BackTheComeback. I don't know how that relates to comic books either, because they didn't put the word comic or book in there. It would have been better to have them together, but at least comic book in the hashtag #BackTheComeback can mean anything. So Diamond doing stuff in Diamond fashion. They've decided to monetize it. Now, all the proceeds from this t-shirt will be going to 3 charities that are going to get distributed out to the comic shops. Now, you might ask, why don't they just distribute the money themselves? I think there's probably some tax issues there, so they have to use charities. Unfortunately, not all the money from the t-shirts will go to comic shops. And I saw something, and we're going to go over the article. I saw something, Diamond's going to put in $50,000 towards something. And that's great. That's all well and good. We want the comic shops to do well. We want them to be okay. I am not dancing on the grave of comic shops, but some retailers think some of us who are critical of what's been going on the last couple of years are dancing on the graves of comic shops. And that is not the case. That is a disingenuous argument. Speaking of disingenuous arguments, we have an article that we're going to go over from Rich Johnston. Now, the reason the Nerdrotic Nooner is late today is because I was working on a video all morning since I got up. I decided there's no way in hell it's coming out today, so it's going to come out tomorrow. And it will be a lot of this, so there might be some repeated information, but we'll see what I find out in my research. But yes, we have a comic shop out there that has purchased, or they said they have 500 copies of the new Warriors. That'll show those nasty YouTubers. Of course, their argument is it's the Streisand effect. And the Streisand effect is a double-edged sword. The problem is it's not going to hurt YouTubers, and it's not going to hurt Rich Johnston at Bleeding Cool. But it is going to hurt comic shops in the long run, and it is going to hurt the industry. But that's the fundamental problem. sometimes retailers can't see past the nose on their face, and they see that hot item that you want to jump on, which has brought us 27 variants of a single issue and brought us that predatory, the Marvel's and DC's predatorial technique towards comic shops, their marketing that has worked great for them, but it's comic shops who have created that. And it was up to each individual comic shop to say enough with the variants. A lot of comic shops don't even deal with Diamond anymore. And I guess a few won't be around anymore to deal with Diamond either because of this crisis. So we're going to fix things by just keeping everything the same. Okay. Interesting strategy. It's a bold strategy. Basically, I should sell t-shirts saying hope is not a strategy, and then I can give them directly to comic shops because I don't have to deal with any of that nonsense. Maybe I will. 500 copies, yes. I've heard from comic shops that have purchased a lot because of the Streisand effect, the car accident effect. There is some logic to that in the short term. Not a very good long-term strategy, though. And it's just proving to, by the way, if you're a comic shop, you do want to sell comics to, everyone. That would be my belief. The most amount of people possible buying comic shops is a good strategy. But if you're going to shout out loud that you're buying 500 copies of the New Warriors, that's just an extension of that middle finger towards the fandom that book exemplifies. It's the embodiment of it. It's not the cause of the problem, so that's part of the disingenuous argument. The New Warriors, Snowflake, and Safe Space is a harmless joke of a book because the industry is a joke and everybody knows it. And, well, I guess there is some logic to comic shops wanting to monetize that because that might be the last bump they get. So save your money. But the comic shop crisis has only just begun. Now, have we lost as many comic shops as I thought we would? Nope. But there's been a lot of family members helping people out. There's been YouTubers helping people out. There's been charities helping people out. Comic creators. Jim Lee, the president or publisher of DC, has been doodling instead of running a company. But that's good. That's good. Or maybe instead of as many illustrations as he's done, he probably could have done an entire comic book. I don't know. But here we are. And it's a joke. And if you think you're affecting anybody here and YouTube personally, not really. No, it sucks to see the industry fall apart. And it sucks to see some retailers taking part in it. But I'm not going to paint them with a broad brush because I know the vast majority of retailers just want to sell comic books and don't want anything to do with this. Well, neither did we. We didn't want to get into a culture war. We didn't fill the comics full of partisan politics and identity politics and intersectional feminism. That was not our decision. But the retailers had the power to change that, and they didn't do anything. They sat on their hands, and now you see what happens when you don't say anything. The one time the retailers did say something, the access media pounced on them and called them a bunch of bigots. Well, if you think about Snowflake and Safe Space for a nanosecond, you would realize that if this book isn't a parody, it ends up being one anyway because the industry has become a parody of itself. And it ends up exploiting the alphabet community and using them to attack customers. How does that feel? That must feel pretty crappy, you would think. Let's see who's here. Hail, everyone. How's it going? We got Elizabeth Lyons. We got Mark Morris. We got Bad Protocol. Yeah, a lot of Bad Protocol going on here. We got Keaton Smith, who is a member. Welcome. We got Liger Fan, John Robertson, Robert Jackson, Jason Wiz 1, Ravener, Pop Star Princess, Elder Scrolling, Elizabeth Lyons again, Jay Lamel, Just a Kid from Brooklyn, and Ronin Blade. What is up, everyone? And I want to remind you all that Just Some Guy will be joining us this Friday for Friday Night Tights. So that should be a good one. We can talk about comics. We can talk about The Last of Us 2. And that is a couple short days away. So I'm excited about that. My voice is a little shot because I was live streaming last night and recording a video. So I apologize for that. So as people roll in, what do we want to do first? Let's do Diamond Comics. Now, I don't want to crap all over this. At least they're doing something. I mean, it's been 2 months. And the one thing they roll out is a t-shirt campaign and a hashtag. And part of this hashtag is telling people to go to their comic shops, show what you're buying, put it on Twitter, put it on Facebook, and use the hashtag Back the Comeback. That sounds familiar. Doesn't that sound familiar? It sounds familiar. Move the Needle. Remember Move the Needle? Something your boy Zach started. And he asked people to go to comic shops, take pictures of what they bought, tell everybody about the comic shop they were at, and put it on Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, it sounds exactly like that. And that was called an alt-right campaign. So it had to be abandoned. And, you know, anytime a creative showed support for that, they were vilified. So, of course, they had to denounce it. Because politics have been poisoning comic books. So let's start here. And comeback sounds familiar. A lot of soy boys. Yes, Stonewall. Daniel Kibblesmith is the epitome of that. Now, that's not a term I throw out too much. Kind of like SJW and NPC, but where it's applicable, it's applicable. All right? So we'll start with Back the Comeback. Oh, that's not what we're going to start with. We're going to start with Back the Comeback. And you guys can see that. All right, so Diamond Comic Distributors calls on retailers to hashtag Back the Comeback. Again, where's the word comic in this? I mean, is it just me? Am I being too picky? Today, Diamond Comics Distributors sent out the below letter to comic books retailers for their hashtag Back the Comeback campaign for distribution from Diamond to return to comic book stores from this coming Wednesday and beyond. Stores depending. Now, that is put in there because not every store can sell comic books to a customer directly right now, including right here in lovely San Francisco, California, and in LA County. They're not going to be able to do it through July. Now, restrictions may get eased up, and I'm guessing they're going to say there's still a lockdown, and it'll be like a soft lockdown, so they might open up shops earlier, and I hope that's the case, as long as things are safe. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with getting this economy going again. But as far as comic shops are concerned, this is where we find out if they're going to make it or not. And I hope everyone does. I hope I am dead wrong on this, okay? Jeppy, who is Steve Jeppy, he owns Diamond Comics Distributors, previously stated that every store would have to make the call for themselves, and the campaign is not non-date specific. However, there's social media hashtags and a website where folk can sign up for updates and even order t-shirts. And here is our Back the Comeback will be bigger than our setback. I hope so. But say it along with me, folks. Hope is not a strategy. Of course, that is a saying I have completely stolen from Mrs. Nerdrotic. She told that to, during one of her salon meetings. Diamond Comic Distributors and Alliance Game Distributors, Jeppy Family Enterprises companies, today announced the launch of Back the Comeback TM. Push the button, TM. A multi-phase campaign focused on supporting local comic and game stores as they reopen. Restart and Rebuild, centered around the rallying cry of "Our comeback will be bigger than our setback." Diamond and Alliance created the campaign in partnership with publishers and industry influencers. Let's hard stop right there, Tim Pool style. Industry influencers. Who are the industry influencers? Are we going back to the same voices we've been hearing from for the last 20 years? Certainly they can be included, but one of the many problems with the comic book industry is the influencers within the industry are a bunch of old guys, a bunch of lifers who have been around a long time, and we certainly want their input, okay? Nobody knows more about the comic industry than they do, but it's okay to bring in a fresh pair of eyes once in a while, or maybe somebody who's dipped out of the industry and came back in. It's good to have that. Somebody who has experience in other industries that have made comebacks before. And maybe these things are being done. I didn't hear any specifics like that in the live stream that Dan Shaheen had with the publishers and with the comic book retailers. I'm hoping he does another one. I'm hoping Marvel and DC would be involved this time. Because quite frankly, if we're not hearing from Marvel, what's the point? And the entertainment industry is going to start, it's going to start mirroring the comic industry, because Marvel has always set the direction of the entire industry. And now Disney and the entire entertainment industry has to follow what Disney does. So it's going to be very similar, very similar. So industry influencers to shine a light on the unique relationship consumers, I hate that word, customers have with their local comic and game retailers while raising funds to support restart efforts. Can we retire the word consumer? Now, they certainly exist, and of course that's what Marvel wants, but if you want to cultivate something that actually lasts, you want customers. And there is that unique relationship that a comic shop has. It's a holdover from, the 20th century, but it's old school retailing, mom and pop retailing. To say that these last few months have been challenging would be an understatement, said Steve Geppi, chairman and CEO of Geppi Family Enterprises. I have heard from many retailers, and everyone is excited about safely opening, restarting, and rebuilding. I truly believe that our comeback will be bigger than our setback, and I'm excited to kick off this campaign in support of our industry and our retailers. Rebuild. Curious word right there, rebuild. They certainly need to do that, and the reason I say curious is that's an acknowledgement that it's been destroyed. Now, can it come back? Yeah, it can. Do we have some good signs? Well, we do from DC. It was recently, 5G was never officially announced, but it looks like it's dead. It looks like we're not going to get Lucius Fox Batman. Is that what it was supposed to be? Lucius Fox Batman, as Bleeding Cool put it, Black Batman. It looks like we're not going to get that. You know what? Maybe now DC can concentrate on focusing on what sells. And once that gets going again, you can certainly start introducing more characters. Everybody loves new characters and new villains. I do too, and they can be as inclusive and diverse as you want, as long as it's organic and it's not used to virtue signal. And we just get back to telling good stories. Good stories. That is what's going to sell. No events. Cut back on the variants. Cut back on the titles. Make the books cheaper. Make the books returnable, and you have a chance. You don't do any of those things, and you don't. And sorry to sound like a broken record, but we haven't gotten any real responses to that. What are the price of the books going to be? Are they going to be returnable? at least for a limited amount of time. And, I know Hibbs has said some unfortunate things on the internet, but early on, he wasn't wrong. Unless they change those two things right now, at least for like a year, I don't know what we're doing here. And then we're just going to continue. And listen, Steve Geppi wants everything to remain the same. He wants it the way it was before. It can't be the way it was before if it's going to grow as an industry. It'll come back. It'll be probably great in shops for a little while. Once things lift, I think they'll see a lot of business because of the backlog. And they certainly addressed that with the publishers who said our orders are up. Of course they are, because there's been a backlog. But 1 month down the road, 2 months down the road, we have millions of people unemployed right now. And the first thing to go is comic books. Because people are smart and responsible. They are a luxury we could no longer afford. And there's so much entertainment out there right now. It's old news that the gaming industry has just eviscerated the comic book industry. It's a joke. I didn't realize how much money that thing pulled in. So it's the biggest industry entertainment-wise in America and probably the world. Brings in $140 billion a year. $140 billion a year. The comic book industry brings in barely $1 billion. You take Scholastic and manga out of that, and it's like 400,000. Very niche. Barely an industry. It used to be. Back the Comeback launches today with a social media challenge. In a video message posted on Twitter via @BackTheComeback, Facebook via Back the Comeback, as well as various YouTube channels, Steve Geppi challenges 5 friends to #BackTheComeback, which doesn't mention comics anywhere, and post messages of support to their favorite comic or game store while asking their friends and fans to do the same. Viewers can visit backthecomeback.com for additional information, including tools to help make their own social messages, just in case you can't tweet, and a link to purchase campaign t-shirts. All proceeds from t-shirt sales will be distributed to charities that support comic and game stores. Okay, I'm going to take a look at this logo. And I see what they're doing here. They're flipping the Comics Code Authority, which was the other calamity that happened to comics. But this is nothing like this. This is much worse because the comic industry was dying before that. And this was a mortal blow, in my opinion. So as far as logos are concerned and making a sellable t-shirt that would generate money for the comic shops, if we take a good look at this logo, and listen, I want this shirt to sell. Why couldn't you put, I don't know, Batman on it? Superman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Catwoman. I'm sure, if maybe the characters that were offered by Marvel were Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel, and they said no, and I wouldn't blame them. But again, I don't mean to be picky, but if you put them on the shirt, it would be much more likely to sell. I mean, you're in the comic book industry. You're in the fracking comic book industry. And this looks like it was put together on Photoshop in like 5 minutes. And they use like a generic background that's supposed to look like Zipatone. What the hell? Oh, and they trademarked it. They trademarked Back the Comeback. Now, I mean, I'm not surprised. Again, maybe I'm being a little too hard on them. I don't know. This is the same company that has this for their logo. All right, so this is their logo. This is, again, the sole comic distributor for comic books. You know, those really fun artistic things with Well, they used to have the beauty of the 4 colors, and that's their logo. It looks like Genentech. That was one of the complaints I had when I first bought the shop. I saw their logo. I'm like, really? Do they do something else? No, they sell toys and comics. I'm like, really? It looks like they distribute medical supplies. So let's finish this up right quick. Hopefully this won't be a one-man show for too much longer. I'm working on getting a producer. That'll be fun. The second phase of this campaign begins later this summer when Diamond International Galleries, DIG, launches a Back the Comeback charity auction. Steve Jeppe has kicked off donations to the auction with items valued at approximately $50,000. The winning bidders will donate directly to one of 3 charities that support comic and game retailers and submit proof of donation to DIG to claim their item. The third phase of the campaign focuses on in-store promotion. Alliance will offer weekly promotions to retailers, and Diamond will partner with publishers to place the Back the Comeback logo on the cover of select comics to commemorate and not commiserate this time period and the emphasis on rebuilding. More information on these additional phases of the campaign will be released in the coming weeks. In the meantime, shops, you do all the work. My hope is that Back the Comeback will reassure our retailers that our community is here to support them. Our industry, says Steve Jeppe. I am proud to collaborate with industry colleagues on this campaign to spread the word about Back the Comeback so that together our comeback will be bigger than our setback. Back the Comeback is a multi-phase support effort Diamond and Alliance are spearheading in response to the global thing that shall not be named. Curious, Marvel and DC aren't mentioned at all. So I'm hoping they back this, but their lack of characters on this t-shirt. I hear publishers, so I'm sure Boom and Dark Horse and Image are behind this. And good. That's good. Here is something that Back the Comeback should be about. Olive branches. We need more customers. We are sorry that we have alienated a lot of our customers with our personal identity politics, with our virtue signaling, with our egos. And we're going to let some YouTubers get under our skin and get into our skulls. And we're going to purchase 500 copies of New Warriors. That which is, it's funny, but it's really not. It's really not. But I'm sure the person who I am not going to name, as much as he would like me to name him, no. I will tell you exactly the article that we're going to go over. Well, we'll go over it then. Hashtag only Shatner is Kirk. RFAR 349 New Zealand. Yeah, I was in the middle of that video and I had to stop that video to start the next video. So maybe I'll put that one out tonight. Now, I don't know where that rumor came from. Of course, there is somebody else who might be playing Kirk in a possible Star Trek Enterprise show. Are they bringing it back? But that is a topic for later. We're going to stick to comics. But yes, and he is the best captain, clearly, after the garbage that was Picard. RT Duty for RT Dutu for £2. Sony are screwing with Az. Show your support. No, I will not support Az. Of course I'll support Az. What are they doing now? I'll have to check Twitter, but of course, support Az. He's a good friend of mine from Heel versus Babyface, and he has been going through a little battle with Sony because he spoke his mind about The Last of Us 2. And sometimes opinions can sting because the truth hurts. And apparently, there's a lot of white knights for giant billion-dollar corporations out there, including some comic book retailers. Lens Quest sends a very phallic unicorn for $1.49. Thank you. I appreciate it. Eric K for $5. I fell asleep last 15 minutes of your live stream last night. Woke with 1,000 being typed at 4 a.m. LOL. Oh, 1,000 of those. Yeah, I've done that before. You didn't miss much. But it was fun. I did a chill stream last night. And it was good. But now we're back to the battle. And of course, I'm checking to make sure this doesn't get ghosted. And we're good. All right. And we have another article to get to. And again, apologies. My voice is shot because I was live streaming late last night and I was recording videos today. Coffee. Courtesy of Captain Spire. Gilbert Lozano for $2.99. Thank you for fighting for the stepped on fans. I'm always going to be here for you. One of the biggest disappointments from some retailers. Now, let me be clear. The vast majority of comic book retailers are good people. And even the ones I disagree with can still be good people. They're just wrong. Unfortunately, when you become a comics pro, sometimes that can go to your head. It certainly went to mine. I'm not going to lie. And it was my undoing. I learned from my hubris. And it starts to become a shop owner's identity. And then they start to want to get close to the creatives and all of the so-called celebrities within the industry. And you kind of lose track of what's important, which is the customers. I've always been a customer-oriented person. Customer service is the one thing I did pretty well. I'm not going to say I was I'm not a genius comic shop owner. I just did my best. I had to learn on the job. I had never owned a business before. I read Small Business for Dummies. I did win Best of the Bay for 2009, so there was that. But I hung out with my customers, went out to dinner with them, and made a lot of friends, and it was great. It was great. But some stuff went to my head, and that certainly is the case here. It's a lot of egos. That's what's behind a lot of the stuff in this industry. Falsely inflated egos because they get their asses kissed, especially the creatives, at conventions so much and online so much, yet they walk the streets and nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows, Ron Lim from anyone, We do. No shade against Ron Lim, but Jesse Howley for $2. Gary, give me a good New 52 rant. You alluded to it. You alluded to it before. Someday, maybe I'll make a video about how much I hated the New 52, because the New 52 was SJW Marvel before SJW Marvel. Now, not all of it was bad. But most of it wasn't. And the customers hated it. And the sales at my shop reflected that. Now, I was also honest with my customers that they asked me if I like certain titles. I would say no. I'm not going to lie to them. Not for a couple bucks. But I'd always try to direct them to something that was good. EVS and RGE both opened campaigns during lockdown. Hatch 450SX. Sorry if I said that name wrong. Thank you for the $2. They did, and they were very, very successful. And the reason they were is because they make no secret that they want to make money, but they also made quality books. It's pretty simple. Make a quality book. Now, hey, their campaigns are sometimes they're salty, and that's just the way of things with Comicsgate. But not everyone in Comicsgate is like that. I don't judge a hashtag, or I don't judge anybody based on a hashtag. It's individuals. And so if there's a bad actor, then it's on the individual. It's not on the hashtag. I've certainly dealt with enough of that with the Fandom Menace and RIP Doctor Who. Just a hashtag. And congratulations to them both. EVS passed 750,000. And Blade Devil is, I forgot, it's hundreds of thousands or six figures. That's pretty damn good. Captain Mohart for $9.99. Hail, Gary. I can't believe it's been over a year since I started watching your channel. I know this because I watched every single stream you and Doomcock did for the last season of Game of Thrones. Yes. Well, yesterday was the anniversary of the bells, of the complete and utter destruction of Game of Thrones. Now, for me, it was the long night, but the bells is when everybody else came around. Everybody's got a different breaking point, you know. So, I had no intention of making another Snowflake and Safe Space video. I was in the middle of a Star Trek video, which I haven't done in a while, but I couldn't pass this up. Especially, we have 3 things we need to talk about in this video. And what is related to this is what happened to Kickstarter. And I talked about it a little bit last night. Kickstarter had to fire 40% of their staff, and including one Camilla Zhang, who was a political gatekeeper. And we see these Indiegogo campaigns making hundreds of thousands of dollars during lockdown, and Kickstarter has to fire 40% of their staff. Why? Because they got political. So how are things going to be different for the comic book industry? Each industry thinks they're going to be different. And there's so many things that are contributing to the destruction of the comic book industry. Digital, predatorial sales, customer service, nasty creatives online, and now this. And they just think they're going to be different, and it never is. It never is. Strong and grand. At this point, maybe these compromised franchises need to let go. Once they crash and burn, the experiment known as going woke may end. It did end. It has ended. Now, I don't know if they've got the memo. Things aren't going to change overnight, but it has clearly ended. Kickstarter is just the latest example. Marvel going ahead with Snowflake and Safe Space will be another example. And, well, we'll get to the article. We'll get to the article in a second. I got to save my take for that one. John Knox for $5. One way to save money and make the books cheaper is to go back to printing and on newsprint for a year or so. I completely agree with that. But that argument has always been shot down. I don't necessarily know why, other than I think a lot of the profits are hidden in printing, and they don't want to go back on that. And plus, they have, I guess they have contracts with their printers, and that would be a big change for the industry, but they need big changes. They need to do drastic things like that. Alterna does that. And if you want to read some good comics that are on newsprint that are cheap, go to Alterna, who constantly gets vilified. Southeastern Kaiju. The instant the economy comes back, we'll hear non-stop talk about the pollution spike, and the mantra of climate change will kick in. It'll never end. A lot of political arguments will never end. This has been a highly politicized situation, which is unfortunate because this is the one time we didn't need it politicized. We just needed good information. But we've needed that from the media and the access media for a long time. Now, I try very hard to keep things non-political. There's a lot of false assumptions about everyone in this chat, a lot of YouTubers that we're necessarily one side of the aisle, or when most of the country is in the center, we're by the issue people. And that's why I think we gravitate to each other. There's no place for us to go. That's why Bleeding Cool has 5,000 ads on their page and they're losing clicks. We got to see how influential they were with the last live stream with Dan Shaheen. They wrote an entire article about Steve Jeppe doing an interview with Dan Shaheen with publishers, including Mark Wade, and it drew 200 people. No shade on Dan Shaheen. He's an up-and-coming channel. It takes time. Still, if you get written about in Bleeding Cool, you would think that's a big deal. And that was actually something that if you care about comics at all, you would want to pay attention to. And you know who was there? Comics Gators. Beer Me Too. And that's not a bad thing because a lot of them care about comics. You want to talk about false assumptions. We care about comics. We care about Star Wars. We care about this stuff. I'm not making any of this crap up. I'll speak for myself. Haven't bought comics since I was a kid. Decided to back EVS and your boy Zach on a few projects. Odd that by interacting and being supportive of potential customers, you create actual customers. Yes. The interaction, you get friendships made. You have a relationship with individuals. And it is the future. Crowdfunding, unless you're an established professional from here on out, and you might be too late for this, but it never hurts to try. Crowdfunding is directly related to having a platform here on YouTube, not on Twitch, not on Instagram, not on Facebook, on YouTube, where you can constantly interact. Yes, sometimes things get salty because we are people. This is fandom. This is the way it's always been. Do not believe that crap that it's always been kumbaya in fandom, because it never has. The only thing that has made things worse is this fake corporate punk rock virtue signaling garbage. Spartacus UK, thank you for the £5. I appreciate the donation. Exxon slogan, don't wreck our comeback, buy oil. Thirsty Warrior for $2. That was good. I got a chuckle out of that. All right, let's go take a peek at what Rich Johnston has to say. And greetings, Rich. How you doing? Thanks for watching some of our videos. I appreciate it. Now, Rich occasionally brings up, when Rich wants to be a journalist, he can be. He actually can be. He did bring up the one good question that was highlighted during that live stream. Excuse me, I'm going to cough for a minute. I'm back. Thank you. So I don't want to throw a bunch of shade at Rich, just a little bit, because he is the king of the disingenuous argument. And he knows that. This is all, I mean, he tries to be funny and cute here, so let's see. I won't read this entire thing. I'm going to highlight this in my video, but we'll just get to the good stuff. All right, so the comic store that ordered 500 copies of Marvel's New Warriors. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to block out the store's name, but I'm not going to mention it, and it won't be mentioned in my video. It will be blocked out in my video. Marvel Comics is still publishing New Warriors, a 5-issue miniseries written by The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, which is just, it's been so good lately. It's a show that really brings people together, not divisive at all, and not funny at all either. Been a long time. You know, I like Stephen Colbert when he was voicing characters on the Venture Brothers. And writer and producer Daniel Kibblesmith. The team is made up of all new heroes with a diverse range of backgrounds, including 2 called Safe Space and Snowflake. For some people, this is the worst thing in the world. It is a terrible comic, even though no one has read it, and it hasn't even been printed, and apparently is responsible for the entire edifice of the comics industry's collapsing. No, it is the result of it. It is the result of it. not the Oedipus. But Rich knows that, and so do you. It is the culmination of everything that has led up to this. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people have dipped out. A lot of people did. I did. I stopped reading Marvel Comics for the first time in my life. I stopped reading. I had moved on. So this was just a reminder of that middle finger. And yeah, it did sting a lot of people. But it's a joke. I mean, we're mocking it. We're mocking it. And it is a symbol of everything that is wrong with the current comic book industry that looks like it's going to remain the same. Okay. Set yourselves on fire. Go right ahead. Somehow, there wasn't this much hatred over Marvel's clearly virtue signaling to elephantine power pachyderms, which reinvented each of the X-Men as elephants. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, he's so funny. But then we didn't have Twitter. That's true. A video trailer for the comic from Marvel has been downvoted 226,000 times. I'm sure it's above that. As a matter of fact, can I check that real quick? Let's check that real quick. Marvel New Warriors trailer is currently at 226. 226 downvotes. It's kind of slowed down a little bit. As opposed to 4,000 upvotes, though it was watched by 1 million viewers so far. And hey, that's great interaction. That is unheard of interaction. But that tells you how many people hate it. Now, there are some people who think that this might result in some sales. And they might not be wrong. But let's see. Naturally, there have been dozens of YouTubers from the usual suspects mocking the very existence of this comic and blaming all of the industry's ills on it. Nope. Culmination of all of the industry's ills. Something I thought was amusing. I'm sure you thought it was amusing, Rich. Considering an earlier example of the mid-70s, from the mid-70s of a low-selling comic. Of course, he tried to compare the New Warriors with giant-size X-Men. Yes, that was amusing. That replaced all of its members for new characters as requested by the company's international sales department, including controversial heroic lead depictions of Germans, Japanese, and Russians. That seemed to work out. Nevertheless, the mocking continued, reaching an apogee on the Joe Rogan Experience TV show in a section labeled Joe Rogan Learns About the Most SJW Comic Book Ever Made. By the way, hail to Kurt Metzger for being a part of that. Racking up another 750,000 views on YouTube alone. So, here's the part. I'll just read it to you. Again, I don't want to show this retailer's name. Now, it's not like the criticism is all one-sided. Rogan says he can't believe the comic is not a parody, and there are a number who believe it is. Well, it's not a parody, and it is. It is a parody that's, it wasn't intended to be one, and the industry has now officially become a parody of itself, like I said before. These are from folks less likely to make YouTube videos about it at all. But they see the Marvel Comics PR for New Warriors as looking like they are mocking diverse characters or looking like a super bigoted parody of diverse superhero comic. And that's how he wrote it, of diverse. He meant to say of a diverse superhero comic, which it is. That's exactly what it is. It is a bigoted parody. Daniel Kibblesmith doesn't think so, but it is. With Kibblesmith's history in satirical writing / producing on Stephen Colbert, does he have a history? Or is he a millionaire who has bought his way into a few positions for notoriety because he probably didn't get a lot of attention, and the only way he gets it is through his money, which must suck, admittedly. But he's got all that money to keep him company. But that shit doesn't keep you warm at night. It does. It does, but on an hourly basis. However, one comic book retailer has seen an opportunity. Mr. Smith from Mr. Smith's Comics in Mr. Smith's region sees things very differently. Politically, Mr. Smith is generally on the conservative side because this is about conservative versus liberal, right? This is about those nasty, bigoted Yahtzees. He's on that side of American politics. He's the kind of person who some might caricature. Who would caricature him like that? Maybe you, Rich, as being against the existence of such a comic. But what Mr. Smith cares about is whether he can sell a comic or not. Is he? You know what? I don't doubt that. And again, there is some logic behind what Mr. Smith is doing here, but I will tell you what his motivation was. He saw those million views on YouTube and is enthusiastically supporting Marvel Comics' decision to publish the comic. He tells Bleeding Cool, no press is bad press. That's not entirely true these days. Marvel's upcoming title, New Warriors, has been taking a beating on social media and beyond. One posting has over 100,000 downvotes. There is way too many eyes on this title for me to dismiss it. Again, there's some logic behind that. My opinion, fans aren't going to be able to not take a peek. It's that car crash you pass by on the highway. You try not to look, but you just have to. I ordered 500 copies. I like my chances. Well, Rich wonders, I wonder what percentage of the print run Mr. Smith's order may end up making. Also, what kind of markup he will be expecting to make by the end of the week. I mean, who knew that a look at Batman's wiener would cause such a fuss? What? I knew. Everybody knew who's collected comic books for a year knew that Batman's wiener would cause a fuss. I immediately bought 10 copies because I collected comic books. And unfortunately, I showed it on a live stream one night, which wasn't a good idea. So, back to Mr. Smith and his logic. In the short term, he may be right. He may be right. He might make a few shekels. Selling 500 copies, it depends on how busy his store is. But if I named Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith's shop would be associated with Marvel's middle finger. Mr. Smith sells comic books online. What Mr. Smith fails to see, and so many retailers fail to see, is the silent customer. The customer who just walks away without saying a word. The customer who didn't downvote Snowflake and Safe Space on YouTube. The customer who has had enough. The customer who just doesn't give a crap anymore. And you know what? Hearing that DC might be changing their ways, getting rid of 5G, bringing back some traditional heroes to mix in with any new heroes you want to create, because this has never been about diversity. It's never been about that. Because if it was, it wouldn't be something you announce. It'd be something that should come naturally to you. It should be something you should just do if you are a good writer. So you got to think about the people who are constantly talking about this, because it's constantly on their mind. You know, I would think a talented writer would write a story that reflects whatever world that writer wants. And if it needs to reflect our real world, great. If it's a fantasy world, great. Have all the blue and green people you want or aliens you want. That shouldn't be the priority. It doesn't mean it should be forgotten. But the reason Mr. Smith is buying those comics, it's an FU buy. Plain and simple. What was left out of that article was Mr. Smith's motivation. See, Mr. Smith follows me on Twitter. Mr. Smith follows EVS on Twitter. Mr. Smith is hyper aware of the Indiegogo projects and hates them. Mr. Smith sees those Indiegogo projects and those of us who criticize comics as dancing on the graves of comic shops, which we are not doing. Nobody's asking anyone to fill the comic books, God, I've said it a million times, with Orange Man stuff. Nobody's asking them. We just want balance. And we want creatives to positively interact with their fans. You can certainly have your creative beliefs, but you know what? You do give up some freedoms when you sign on with a big subsidiary of a big corporation. You represent that corporation. Now, you've been lucky for the last couple of years that corporation doesn't give a crap and hasn't disciplined anybody, out loud anyway, over their treatment of customers. But believe me, that is changing. That is absolutely changing. That is a policy I had at my shop. If you wanted to work at my shop, you could not be political on social media at all. Now you have a choice. You can continue to be political and not work at my shop, or work at my shop and not be political. And the same goes for me. That rule went for me as well. Now, I'm guessing by what I've seen from DC that they want to sell some comic books because they're desperate. And that's good. Is it too late? That's the question that should be asked. Is it too late? For a lot of people, it is. But if you have a retail shop going, I'm going to buy, silently buy 500 and see if you can make some cheddar, sure. But by announcing it, you show your motivation. And then having it written up, hell, Mr. Smith probably contacted Richie Johnston. It's not like there isn't, whisper campaigns on Facebook. I hate this term, but that mentality, Mr. Smith, okay, boomer. Okay. You show those YouTubers. Again, the Streisand effect is a double-edged sword, but it's not going to hurt Rich Johnston, and it's not going to hurt me, and it's not going to hurt EVS or your boy Zach. But it is going to hurt comic shops in the industry in the long run. Losing a single customer hurts you. Thank you again, Spartacus UK, for the £5. Thirsteenth Warrior, thank you again for the £2 or $2. Dario Sussman for $100 of something. Wait, why would anyone donate money to a monopoly? That's a very good question. I think that, but you know what? Monopoly triggers anyone who wants the industry to remain the same. If you want to see the people who just want stuff to remain the same because change is scary, well, we're in a scary time. It's time to face your fears. It's time to man up or woman up. It's time to sack up. And I mean that metaphorically for all genders. It's time to face your fears. It's time to fundamentally change the industry or die. This is your one chance. And it looks like they're letting it pass by, and then you're going to continue to fade away. I heard Steve Jeppe on that live stream say a few times that I think things are going to be better than ever. But I haven't seen a plan, an actual plan. And no, a hashtag isn't a plan. Hope isn't a plan. A charity t-shirt isn't a plan. A charity auction isn't a plan. It's a stopgap. But they, once again, so this is our second official announcement from Diamond. Both announcements said, we're going to do this stopgap thing and we'll come up with a better plan later. In the meantime, shops, be creative. Well, most of the shops with half a brain are already doing that. And part of that creative thinking, I believe, is not using Diamond anymore. Or not using them for everything. Unsolicited advice. If I was a shop right now, and you still need Diamond, of course, you get your new releases. But I wouldn't order any trades from Diamond. I wouldn't order any toys from Diamond unless it's like a Diamond, Diamond Direct toy. I would go direct to a lot of the wholesalers will deal with you directly, like Sideshow. I would contact some collectors. That's what I did. And you become part of a collector network, and you can get wholesale deals through individuals. I would sell used trades. I would just put a big sign up, I buy trades. And I was near a university, so I was lucky, but I always got a long box of trades. And I would give, pennies on the dollar, but I ended up stocking my trades with used trades. Yeah, you buy some new ones when they're new, but a lot of the evergreen stuff you can get used anywhere. And then you get to sell it cheaper. You get better margins on that, much better than Diamond. Lessen your reliance on Diamond overall. Don't become a Diamond storefront. Judo Cricket is a member at the Geloja level. Hail! Hail! Keaton Smith for £2. Hail bagging and boring stream with Az and Gary. Yes. Was it boring, Keaton? I didn't think it was boring. Oh, but some people might think it was. We had a lot of people watching, I guess. That was cool. But yeah, I'm sure we were sitting there bagging and boarding comics and chatting. I thought it was pretty good though. Thank you, Keaton, for the £2 though. Seahawk Scott for $20. Love your content, Gary. Right back at you, Seahawk Scott. Not too sure about your football team, but that's okay. I'm not a sports ball fan anymore, but thank you for the $20. My uncle used to be an equipment manager for that team back in the 70s though. There you go. Sigurd Hellickson Crypt Keeper. Sigurd Hellickson Crypt Keeper for $20. Thank you. If facing a lawsuit with Soini, I like that. Soini. Oh, yes. Well done. Don't be afraid to converse with your lawyer. Set up an what's an IOLTA? I don't know what that is, or an equivalent, and crowdfund it on GoFundMe. GoFundMe has proven to be very resilient for this kind of thing. It has, Sigurd. It has. I set up a GoFundMe for Anas Abdeen to support his lawsuit against CBS All Access and Alex Kurtzman, because in my opinion, Alex Kurtzman's ripped Anas Abdeen off. I've done multiple videos on the subject. His game Tardigrades was ripped off, in my opinion, for Star Trek Discovery. So you are correct. Soini has not come after me yet. Even though I did put memes, and I didn't entirely spoil the game, but I alluded to the spoilers. Maybe I wasn't, maybe I'm small potatoes. 200 Watt Studio for $2. Gary, I have a theory about the Mandalorian. Well, what is it? That they want more people to watch? That would be my theory. I did hear 200 Watt Studio that you are going to have a cameo in The Mandalorian next season, though. I did hear that. Louis the Plank for $5. Thanks for all the great content. Do you have any Swamp Thing story arcs to recommend for new readers? Yes, the entire saga of the Swamp Thing written by Alan Moore. And beyond. Oh, New 52 Swamp Thing. New 52 Swamp Thing was good. I will say that. Greg Miller for $20. As much as I respect you and Lord Dubcock's viewpoint, it seems like to me these people in media like comics, like TV shows and movies. It seems that instead of this woke crap being over, it seems that they are doubling down. Oh, they are most certainly doubling down, Greg Miller. You are not wrong. They do like it. They do. And that's why they have continued to sell it, because they want to be right. So they have lost the plot. Their judgment has been clouded with their emotions. Larry, I just said his name. Mr. Smith, God damn it. Mr. Smith just made an emotional decision by buying 500 copies of Snowflake and Safe Space, the New Warriors. Just like George Lucas made an emotional decision selling Star Wars to Disney. It was a bad decision. You never want to bring emotions into a business decision. Mr. Smith wanted to flip off a couple of YouTubers, and we're just going to make content out of it. I mean, thanks, buddy. And maybe that was intention. Maybe he's secretly trying to help us. So truly, thank you. But you're not wrong. No, they got some bad data. They, being the entertainment industry, got some bad data. They went in one direction. They read the tea leaves wrong. They misinterpreted the trends. And they've done this in the past. And instead of going, you know what, this stuff's not selling, they make more of it because this time it's going to work. This time it's going to work because it's just a small number of bigots out there. It's not half the audience or a large majority of the audience who aren't bigots. They just want good stories. Couldn't possibly be that. Daniel the One for $5. Gary, Dan Shaheen had another roundtable today. Chuck Rosansky was awesome. Oh, I will check it out. Daniel the One. I know I saw something, but I will definitely check it out. I will most definitely check it out. I'm making a video for tomorrow, so that might be part of it. And that's why I waited till tomorrow. Sometimes you can't rush these. I can't rush a video. I am slow with the video. So I will never, it was a rarity that I got Deadpool possibly being canceled out before a lot of people because it was just an easier video to make, but usually it takes me a couple days. What's this? Peabot Hulu. Oh, I'm sorry. Peebo Thulu for $5 Australian. Hi, Gary. Always love the streams. Thank you. Personally, I'm happy to accept the science and scientists with regards to how the climate is doing. I just read a super chat. I'm not going to get involved in that argument whatsoever. I am a non-political channel. I am not a scientist. All I know is it's partly cloudy outside with a little bit of drizzle. But you're allowed to have your opinions, and so is that other super chatter. But I was just reading a super chat. Not having that debate here. Inquisitor B312 for $5. A little unrelated, but have you read the War God series by Graham Hancock? I have not read any of his fiction stuff, but I've read a ton of his non-fiction stuff. How is it? Just let me know in the chat. Hit add Nerdrotic. What did you think of it? I love Graham Hancock. Cesario JPN for $5. My latest Indiegogo purchase, number 7, was Anna That Star Wars Girl Vampirella cover set and shirt. Kickstarter refuses to take my credit card. IGG takes my money more than Kickstarter. They refuse to take your credit card. Why? That's weird. You know what? Kickstarter does not have very long to live. They're not going to be around much longer. Oh, look at that. Ghosted. Ghosted, just like that. An hour in, I got ghosted. I wonder what got me ghosted. Son of a bitch. Huh. Should I? Should I not? We'll stick with this one. We'll stick with this one. But we are ghosted. Thanks, YouTube. That's all right. For anyone who misses, pass the word, share it, please. And I will put it on Nerdrotic Live later. That is too bad. My latest, thank you again, Cesario JPN. Big Vis, $4.97 for $10. Marvel hires so many low-quality artists. Most of them rely on colorists and production values to make more art look professional. Cheaper paper would really expose them. Thoughts? That's a good point. Crappier art would look crappier on crappy paper. Yes. Big Viz, $4.97 for $10. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Archmage Frey for $2. Instead of embracing fandom, they're weaponizing it. Absolutely. And they're dividing it, weaponizing certain fans, weaponizing certain provocateurs on Twitter. Most definitely. I mean, their whole thing. And maybe they just want to play to that audience. There's a pretty good argument out there that they want nothing to do with us. They want us just gone. They don't want to make comics for everybody. Now, maybe DC does, but I have yet to see that for Marvel, which hurts the comic shops. Breakneck World for $50. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thoughtful, intelligent, and in-your-face truth about corporate-run comics and how they're driving comic characters into the ground. Corporations need us. We do not need you. Keep it up, Nerdrotic. Hell yeah, thank you very much. No, we don't need them anymore. We really don't. This is the last gasp, folks. I'm going to do my commentary on Snowflake and Safe Space more to chronicle the demise than to expect anything to really change. So I hope I'm not giving anybody any, wrong ideas. I want to help the comic book shops, but it's looking grim. It's looking real grim. And apparently, YouTube doesn't want to get this message out there. I rarely get ghosted, and it's been happening a little more lately. Wonder why. Russian Bot 1918 for $5. Always introduce him as failed comic book writer Rich Johnston, who smeared a female DC employee at the behest of a serial harasser. Yeah, you know what? I will do that from now on. You ask and you shall receive. It will from now on be Rich Johnston, failed comic book writer, who smeared a female DC employee at the behest of a serial harasser. My pleasure. Angry Trollbot for $5 Canadian. Of course, the usual suspects. Who the hell else is even talking about comics? Usual suspects. Comic book fans. Hell yeah. Japla for $5. How am I supposed to support this joke of an industry when they keep attacking me? This comeback tag is a joke. It is. Rob Slevin for $5. J.R.R. Tolkien was a very religious man. Do you remember any religion in his world? I don't. Nope. God was alluded to once, and it wasn't Jehovah, okay? John Zeller for $10. Hail, Gary. Just ordered more comics from Alterna. Thank you very much. Hail. It's comics the way I remember them when I was a kid back in the 50s. Keep up the great work. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Starwolf for $4.99. I don't understand how you can dictate no one be political on social media in a store when you run a YouTube channel making fun of woke libtards. How you don't understand how I could dictate that? It's easy. I'm making fun of the woke as the woke. I don't see them as just liberal. We just heard from Mr. Smith, who's not liberal. We have a lot of liberal people here in the chat, and when I dictated that in my store, we didn't talk about politics, but we can make fun of politics being inserted in there. I've never stated my politics on this show, ever. And I won't. Go up and down my Twitter. I don't put up political posts. I just mock when they try to lean in to their weird fundamentalist brand of politics that's more like a religion. But I can certainly, I was the boss. I could dictate whatever the hell I wanted. Hail, Gary, stream is ghosted. Notice me, Sempa. Yeah, Grand Inquisitor, thanks. I'm a little bummed about that. Yeah, we were rising too, and I saw it shoot down, and I'm like, what was that? Bagging and boarding. Sorry, not bagging and boarding. Sorry, wrote it wrong. It's okay, Keaton Smith. You didn't have to put that. I didn't take it personally. Listen, unlike the creatives at Marvel, you guys can take shots at me all day long. You could question me. Star Wolf asked a good question. How can you dictate this stuff when you make fun of woke libtards? It's a good question. That's all right. I don't take that stuff personally. We are having fun here because we're trying to make the best out of a very, very bad situation. So thank you, Keaton Smith, for the 99 cents. I appreciate it. Dents Menson for $4.99. I've got some great news, Gary. My girlfriend told me that I was the perfect size for her. Woo, woo. Well, everybody, F's in the chat. Dents Mensa's girlfriend says he is the perfect size. Don't tell him that they all say that. But congratulations. Woo Brew or Wahoo Brew for $5. Bagging and boarding is an awesome idea. That is Az's idea, and we will do more of it. My problem is enough bags and boards recently. New BCW box for Alterna. Going to support Peter and his folks. Good. Good. I don't have any of that stuff to show right now, but you know what? I have an Amazon page. You got to search it. I don't have the link right. Or I could put it up. Hang on. Amazon Nerdrotic. All right. So if you want to know, people always ask me what I recommend and stuff. That's what you can use this page for. You don't have to buy anything. That's not what it's there for. It's a nice place to put recommendations, stuff I like. Now, I will add comic supplies to this in the future, but if you guys want to hang on to this link, and if you want to know what by the way, hell yeah, that's great. I'm just seeing the F's in the chats now. Yes, yes. All right, so this is a list of my recommendations right there. Amazon, Shop Nerdrotic. Shop Nerdrotic. Rojo, where'd it go? It just jumped on me. Rojo Diablo, thank you for the phallic unicorn for $1.49. I appreciate it. Corey Timmons for $5. Gary, I'm watching a fantastic show on Amazon called Upload, non-woke, and has a female who has to struggle with real character development, laughing a lot. You know, JP at Egotastic Fun Times said that was good as well. I will check it out, Corey. Thank you. I love good recommendations. Are we getting Exozone this week? Diego Flores asks. I believe so. That is up to Doomcock. It's on his channel this week. But I think it would be a lot of fun. Sure. It's up to him, though. I will follow his lead. I'll tell you what, we'll do one next week on my channel for sure, but I think we are. Bill Durkin for $10. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Sam U. Rye for $2. Please explain ghosted in this context. Oh, okay. Sorry. So a ghosted live stream means you can't see it in the subscription feed. It's been happening since YouTube has gone to a skeleton crew. They're all working for home. There's no excuse. There's more people now on YouTube than ever, and I believe they have to ghost certain live streams for bandwidth issues. I'm not really sure how it affects it, but so I have not been getting recommended in live streams. The videos are doing fine. My videos are doing fine. Listen, I always want more subscribers. It's always great to have more people here, and please keep liking and sharing the videos. Now, the reason the videos are doing fine is because you guys are liking and sharing them. So thank you. It really, really, really is helping because our notifications aren't going out, especially with live streams. I think a third of you are getting notifications for these live streams. And now you have to go directly to my channel to see the live stream. Otherwise you won't see it at all. So that's what it means by being ghosted. It's still on. It's on the platform, but it might as well be unlisted right now. It's not public anywhere. Shane Weistruck for $2. Which is the most savable, Doctor Who, Star Trek, or Star Wars? Star Trek. Star Trek. It's done a lot of damage, but it can recover. Doctor Who cannot recover without a complete reboot. Listen, they can all recover if some brave soul comes along and erases the Disney trilogy, erases series 11 and 12 with Doctor Who, and erases all of Kurtzman Trek. Not going to happen. So what can survive with all that stuff? Star Trek. Tall, Dark, and Gruesome. Thank you for the $1.49. It's not, it's a very small percentage. Thank you for the $1.49 phallic unicorn. I appreciate it. Diego Flores for $20. pesos. Tolkien's work is based on Catholic allegory. Basically, his mythology in the Silmarillion is the rebellion of the angels, while the story itself is an allegory of his experience in the war and as a Catholic. Yes. And it's also Northern European mythology. I think it's subject to interpretation how much allegory was used for what. But most definitely the ring represented the loss of free will, and Sauron represented industry for sure. Rin Wesley for $5. Hey Gary, do you think that YouTube is almost like the diamond distributing for CG? If YouTube kicks CG, where would CG artists go? That would be tough. That would be almost impossible to recover from fully. I do think that some CG artists with big platforms need to think about alternative platforms for sure. For sure. Because people just don't follow people over. It's about this platform. This is why I haven't jumped on over to Twitch. I could. I live stream a lot. I live stream daily. Now, I am going to eventually move. So the Nerdrotic Nooner is going to, once I get my producer on, the Nerdrotic Nooner is going to stay generally at the same time every day. Now, the reason I'm going to say generally is because I have to record videos. Those take a priority. They take a long time, and sometimes I got to push stuff off. But I'm going to try to be at the same time every day for a scheduled live stream. In the future, 2 of those live streams are going to go over to Twitch because we got to think about other platforms to go. I have a website, nerdrotic.com, where everything is backed up, but I'm not going anywhere. So I'm going to mainly stay here. But if I keep getting ghosted, I don't know. Now, last night didn't get ghosted. That was good. I don't know why tonight. Listen, you usually get ghosted when you get demonetized. Let's see if I got demonetized. Bringing up politics. This is why I don't bring up politics. Might do that. Let me take a look. No, we are monetized. All right. Maybe YouTube, I don't know. Maybe I live stream too much. Too bad. I'm going to keep live streaming. I'm not particularly artistic and pretty much colorblind. I'm perfect for doing my own Marvel comics, says Tracy Wilborn for $5. Yes. Inquisitor B312 for $5. I enjoy the series. I love ancient history. YouTube has hidden streams from me a lot recently, and all from channels that I have notifications turned on. I will be discussing this with my YouTube partner person in the very near future. So I'll let you know what they say. I doubt I'll get a straight answer, but enough is enough. I'm going to have to start mentioning this in the videos again, by the way, and I'm sorry. So I apologize in advance. I got to do my little spiel in front, because if I don't do that, the videos, we need you guys to share, and it doesn't happen as much if we don't ask. It sucks to do that all the time, but, and I thank you again for those of you who have. I really do appreciate it. Here's a little ghost cheddar. Hail Nerdrotic. Bioman, thank you for the $2. I appreciate it. Diego Flores for 5 pesos. Do you only talk about UFOs or paranormal stuff in general? Oh, we talk about all paranormal stuff on the Exozone. We cover it all. We consider all possibilities. We don't state anything as fact. We just discuss it and have fun. That's what it's there for. We generally don't touch certain conspiracy theories, like that famous date in September, we don't discuss because that one gets way too divisive. Gerald for $10. Hi, Gary. With your YouTube notoriety, do you think you'll become a celebrity comic book store owner? Do you think customers will come to your store just to see you? No, not for a second. No, and I don't ever want to believe that. And if I do, fire me, please. But thank you. Listen, hey, if the channel helps get customers in, great, because that was my original intention, was to start a podcast that I could eventually make part of the store. It was supposed to be part of the store. I was going to put a little studio in there, and I would do live podcasts after we closed with an in-studio audience. And I still am going to do that. Now, if I go into business here in California, it will be a pop-up only, because I am getting the hell out of this state, and I will be doing it within a year. I am done with this crap. Yeah, this isn't the California I grew up in. I have no problem with the residents. I have a problem with the regime. Really chuffed about Just Some Guy on Friday. Good. 13th Warrior for $2. A great YouTuber. Just Some Guy, if you haven't checked him out, is probably, top 2 or 3 comic book critic out there on YouTube, period. Right up there with your boy Zach. He's been doing it for years. He's funny. More importantly, he's insightful and he's fair. Battle Him 63 for $2. Check Az's video from about an hour ago. Okay, I will. Thank you. Well, screw it. You guys want to check it out? Let's check out Az's video. Let's find out what he says. It's ghosted, so let's have some fun.
Sony have responded.
Please go subscribe to Az, by the way, and watch this video on his channel. But we'll watch a little bit of it. Give me just a moment. Sorry. There we go. I'm going to cut off a little bit here, but that's fine, right? Doesn't look great. Sorry, it's cutting the chat, but let's watch this a little bit. Let me make sure this is coming out of the right speakers. What do we got? Properties. Okay. That is good. Here we go. I'm going to be muting my mic. Let's listen to Az for a little bit.
To the 2 copyright claims that they have against my Last of Us 2 leaks video. And it's quite clear that they want to push this as long as they can or to the court system. They can't, however, pull my channel down because they completely mucked up the copyright strike. But I'll show you it all right now. Hi everyone, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. The algorithm is going to hate me for this video, so if it doesn't get out there, please do share this as far and wide as you can, because I've actually already put 3 videos up. 2 for you guys, 1 for my member, Jedi Masters only. So this is technically my 4th video of the day. So with that said, there's been some really interesting developments. I just literally finished putting up that members only video on my channel. Just about to hit a hot shower before I went to bed. Great way of unwinding. And then I had 2 pings on my phone, which meant there were 2 business emails which had come through at the same time. Okay. So I checked them out. Normally I would have just left it, but I checked them out because 2 came at exactly the same time. And they were both from Sony Interactive Entertainment America, who were responding to the 2 copyright claims that they had placed on my Last of Us Part 2 leaks video, where I discussed the leaks when they came out. I think it was put up on the 28th of April. Now, I did a video where I said Sony are trying to pull down my YouTube channel because what they did is they put 2 claims and they also copyright struck my channel too. And the reason why that was very significant is copyright claims can be upgraded to copyright strikes. So the copyright strike was the threat, and that also stopped the video. The 2 claims were the support. So if one was to actually get quashed, the secondary element of it, either the strike or the claim, would still prevent the video from being put up. But if they upgraded the 2 claims to copyright strikes, 1, 2, 3 copyright strikes, your channel is pulled down. Now, if it's been pulled down by false methods, you can actually have it put back up. But of course, it's just a faff and a ball ache and all that sort of stuff. So Sony were making perfectly clear what their intentions were. Smaller YouTube channels than mine were actually receiving 2 copyright strikes, Ryan Cannell being one of them, involved with Geeks and Gamers, which also affected the Geeks and Gamers channel and prevented them from doing live streams. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers receiving a copyright strike during a live stream while only circumventing the leaks, not even discussing them and not putting up any material whatsoever. So it's very specific what they were trying to do with Ryan Cannell, for example. 2 copyright strikes, 1 more, you're gone. So the threat was very real for that guy. Being under 100,000 subs, doesn't have a dedicated YouTube contact like we do. His channel would be in massive trouble and likely not be able to be recovered.
So it looks like they're messing with Az, but they're screwing it up again. We need to support them now more than ever. I wonder if a ghosted stream would get struck down if we talked about Naughty Dog leaks, if we talked about golf clubs and Abby and dogs being brutally beaten to death. Yes, you can. Apparently, there was a dog. Now, I have seen the leaks. They are legit. And they are, if you like that game, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. You're supposed to walk out of this game feeling like you did after the Red Wedding with Game of Thrones. That's exactly what they did. It's just there for shock value. The only reason I'm not blurting these leaks out right now as a fuck you to them is because I don't want to ruin the game for anybody in this chat. All right. So, but I'm sure all of you guys know the specifics. And that is the only thing that's kept me from stating the leak specifically, because I really want to, just as a fuck you to Sony, but I don't want to spoil the game for you guys. So, unless I hear everyone say it's okay, but yeah. So I think they're going to string this on as long as possible. And it's done nothing but help his channel. It's still frustrating because they can still strike him down, and nothing is stopping them from hitting him with another one on this video. They wanted to, I know these are manual because no channel has been struck down that I know of yet. All right. And it's only a matter of time until some other company figures this out, like Marvel or something, and starts doing this crap. And it can derail a YouTuber, but it generally helps after a long time. So it's really fucking stupid that they do this. But of course I support my friend Az in all things. So please give him a sub. I did a live stream with him yesterday. It was great. Do you think so? Maybe it was. Hatch 450 SX has a theory on why I got ghosted. It's because you mentioned The Last of Us and Bad Fido. Oh, you mean irritating bitch? I'm sorry. Naughty Dog? Maybe. Maybe. My guess is you got ghosted when you said, oh, bat penis. Oh, you're probably right. You're probably right. Icehawk LB, you are correct. Because I had a live stream taken down because I showed it. So you're probably right. Oh, I could say bat penis now. Bat penis, bat penis. For the escape fund, good luck, Gaza. Thank you, Steve Carter, for £2. And thank you, Icehawk LB. You're right. So the last stream that got ghosted, I put a smoking Cyberman on the thumbnail, and that's what took it down. So what? Penis. Who cares? Bring on J Longbone. Her Batwoman vids are a riot. Sure. I don't know who that is though. But I will check her out. Like her YouTube videos out. And sure. Thank you, RussianBot1918 for $2. I love hearing about new YouTubers. Maybe she's been around a long time. I just haven't seen her come across my feed. Diego Flores for $5. I think the notifications are always guaranteed when you are premium because my account is premium and I never miss a notification ever. Never. That's good. Yeah, maybe they're trying to steer you to that. I hope not. Listen, I appreciate you guys watching the ads and all that stuff, but if you've got ad blocker, more power to you. It's all good. Enough people watch the ads where it's fine. It's fine. One of the things I try not to do here is push crowdfunding and stuff, but I'm certainly not against it. Okay. I'm certainly not against it. Hail Nerdrotic, my fellow San Francisco, Bernal. Oh, you're in Bernal Heights. All right. I'm blowing this taco stand as well. March 2021. Good, Charles. I'll be right behind you. Thank you for the $10. Right behind you. Yeah, enough of this place. It's not worth it. It's not like it's that great of a place to live anymore. It was okay before. There are some very good people here. Don't let everyone fool you. There are some solid people here who live in San Francisco. Unfortunately, none of them are in control. Does Az shower with Dana? Yes, Thomas Buell. He does in his mind. Thank you for the $2. Brendan Lucas for £5. Now that aliens are real, the world responds. No response from the president, but House Speaker has said she wants to let them vote in school board elections. Well, Brandon, they wanted 16-year-olds to vote in the city, so I'm not surprised. This stream is ghosted for me. Also, hail. Sorry, Sasha Tech, you are correct. It is ghosted. And yeah, the thing is when it's ghosted, you don't get any new viewers and not everybody stays on. And I've already lost 800 viewers. So maybe because I suck, but no, people cycle through and if they don't see it, they assume I'm gone. So there it goes. There it goes. I was only going to go for an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours today anyway, because my voice is completely trashed. That's why I didn't restart it, but normally I would. I'm checking Tall, Dark, and Gruesome. Thank you for the $1.49 phallic unicorn. I appreciate it. Candlin Bond, thank you for joining at the proto-molecule level. I appreciate it. The memberships help a lot. I'm going to focus. I'm going to probably have to get rid of my Subscribe Star because I don't want to give them my social security number. But I will probably, I'm going to see if I can because I've never taken a penny from Subscribe Star. I'm going to see if I can refund everyone there and maybe direct them to the memberships. I'm also going to offer them a little special thing. But I'm going to focus on memberships and Patreon as long as Patreon pays me for February, which they have not done yet. And my preference would be they either pay me or refund everyone, not keep the money. So we'll see what's up with that. Ramasili. Oh my God. How am I supposed to? Ramis Alami. Here, let me see if I can get your name right before I screw it up. Oh, so it's all right. Rami Salami. There we go. I just had to see context for that. Thank you very much for the 1999. The year is 2032. That's 2032, as in the 21st century. And I'm sorry to say that the world has become a punani whipped Brady Bunch version of itself, run by a bunch of robed sissies. Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man. Yes, I love that movie. John Ellis Bush for $4.99. Premium misses notifications. I didn't get one for tonight. God damn it. Thomas Ballou for $2. Does Az drop the soap and make Dana pick it up? Yes. Yes. No. Dana drops the soap and makes Az pick it up. That's the truth. So since we're here and it's ghosted, let's see what I got in the mail today before we take off. Just to let you know, China is back in business because Sideshow's shipping stuff now. This is an order from, a year ago, and I don't know what it is. I have a feeling I know what it is, but I don't know for sure. Oh, hey. Whoa. Inside Sideshow Studio book came for free with, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, yes. Oh. It's the little things in life, folks. The Twilight Witch King. Hell yeah. I'll post a picture on Twitter. Yeah, it's a good thing I bought this a year ago, and I probably should have returned it, but it's not like I need to add anything to the studio, but they were a year-old order. But yes, it's the little things. Welcome to the proto-molecule level, Route 69. Is the bat penis known as Little Wayne? No, it's Little... Lord Funkicus for $10. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. No. No, I probably got the beer bug now. I usually wipe these things down, but I thought it dies after, it probably was sitting in a container ship for, a month maybe, right? Well, we're all going to get it eventually. Osmus Collectibles rules. Here, let's take a look at it. Do I have my gloves around here? Screw it. See, that's awesome. Oh. And the one cool thing about their swords, they're metallic. There you go. Coolness. So put that blade in there. Boom. There you go. It's my doll. That's what my oldest son says. These are my dolls. So can you see it? There we go. It's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. That face is badass. Well, and he comes with that as well. And just some hands. I don't think there's anything else unless there is a stand, maybe. Nope. That's it. There you go. Cool. Well, I got to find space for it now. That's going to be interesting. like Tetris in here. It's like Tetris. All right. Yeah, so the video, I've got, I don't know, I hate putting out 2 videos in one day. So I don't know. I'll probably do the comic book one first. So that'll come out in the morning, probably at 8 Pacific time. And the Star Trek one will come out the next day. So I'm doing a Kirk one for the next day. Now that rumor about Kirk comes from 4chan, I think. So I have an angle on that because there's people out there who want to discredit Doomcock, yours truly, Midnight's Edge. So they've been putting false rumors on 4chan to try to lure us in, which is hilarious in itself that somebody would spend time out of their day to do that. Because I don't know how you really mess with credibility if you call it a rumor. I haven't run with any of them. And I don't really know how you mess with somebody's credibility if they just say they don't like a TV show. They could try. Sahirioth, thank you for the $1.49 unicorn phallic symbol. Rock out with your bat penis out. Grew up in Napa in the 80s. San Francisco was nice then. Left California in the 90s. Never went back. Batcock, the Dark Knight rises. He rises. He does. Except when he's around Catwoman and he's written by Tom King. Then it shrinks like he's in cold water. The new movie Unhinged Russell Crowe is cucked to some rando lady in Road Rage movie. LOL, shake my head. Russell Crowe is cucked white man, bad SJW crap, says Doyle Hargrave for $5. I will avoid it at all costs. Thank you very much for the $5. For 10 rubles. Hey, Gary, today one of my cousins died on his birthday. I'm doing the arrangement for his burial. I received an email notification for your live stream. If it helps me pass the time. Thank you. My condolences. I'm really sorry to hear that. And we heard about that somebody's brother died a couple of days ago. I don't know if it was from what's going on right now. If we can help you guys in any way, put a smile on your face at any time, it's a job well done. I'm, again, very sorry to hear that. Listen, there wasn't live streaming when I lost my dad, but there was talk radio, and it helped me a lot. Live talk radio. Any kind of interaction to help keep your mind off things, let you know that the world is still going to spin, and we must go on. But yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. Let me know how things are in the future. Let me know you're okay. I know you don't drink, but this could be a new drinking game. Every time you mention as, we drink something. Hey, that's good, Thomas Ballou. I mention my friends a lot. You can also, there's lots of drinking games you can do with me. But you've mentioned them 3 times. So that adds to the drinking game as well. Thank you for the $5. All right. Yeah, that's 3 times. No, 4. 4 times you mentioned them. All right. Do you not like as? Thomas? Do you have a problem with them, or you have a problem with me mentioning them? Curious. It seems to be bothering you. Thank you, Benj, for joining. Thank you for joining us at the Jaloja level. No, I shout out friends. I just met Az like a couple of months ago. 3 months ago through Doctor Who, and we get along pretty well. Yeah. I mentioned Doomcock a lot too. I also mentioned Midnight's Edge, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, Odin, Comics Division, Critical Drinker, your boy Zach, EVS. I have mentioned a lot of people. It's funny that you focus on as so much, but thanks. I mean, sorry if it bothers you. But I'm really not. I don't know how that could bother you. So we are going to wrap it up right there. And Benj, welcome to the Geloja level again. I will see you guys tomorrow morning for another nooner. We'll do another nooner. Hopefully it won't get ghosted. And yes, again, eventually they're going to stay weekly, but we're going to move a couple of them over to Twitch. I do have a Twitch channel. There's nothing there, but if you want to give it a follow, I also have an Instagram where you can win stuff. Mrs. Nerdrotic, the lovely Mrs. Nerdrotic, who I mention a lot during, you can do a drinking game about that too. Hopefully people aren't bothered by me mentioning my wife. Mrs. Nerdrotic, does contests every Sunday. She does Swag Sunday. And if you just follow me on Instagram and then you comment on the post on Sunday, it enters you to win swag like t-shirts, beanies, stickers, comic books, all kinds of fun stuff for free. It's a thank you to you guys. So it's Instagram.com/Nerdrotic. And you could also, we have a Facebook group, we have a Facebook page, and I've got nerdrotic.com. And look for 2 videos in the next 48 hours. As is a laugh riot. I love him so much. I love him so much. We love him too. Yeah, I was wondering, Thomas. But maybe you're an Az head. But we love Az. So hail, Thomas. Thank you very much. I love him so much. That's a good idea. I didn't think about that. I'm going to talk to Az about the bagging and boarding thing. We need to probably do that. I think once a week is good, or once every couple weeks, depending. Live streaming does take a lot of time, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. And I thank everyone who joined me for this one. I appreciate you all. Have a great day. Not all who wander are lost. And remember, we don't want the wings of liberty to lose a feather, so we keep these fights going on. And don't forget to back the comeback, whatever it's backing.